Hey guys, Scare9 here, welcome back to my channel today, and in this video I want to take a look at all three completed sets for the brand new raid, Spire of Stars. Now these are pretty cool. They are pretty much reskins, I would like to say, of the Eater of Worlds sets. That's a discussion we're going to have towards the end of the video though. I don't think it's necessarily as big of a deal as people are making it out to be, but I definitely would personally make some changes to this system. So before we start off, I would just like to note that there does appear to be some type of smart loot system active in this raid. I have now completed the raid twice on each of my characters, and now I have the full armor sets almost at the exact same time for all three of them. I think it functions very similarly to how the smart loot in Eater of Worlds functions, but I think it's a little bit more complicated. For instance, I believe the helmet can only come from killing Valkor himself, so of course if you have everything but the helmet and then you complete the jump puzzle optional encounter and then the Valkor destroy the ships encounter, you're probably going to be getting duplicates because the helmet cannot drop from those encounters, and that is the only thing you are missing. But other than that, I believe if you have already gotten an item from one of the designated loot pools and you don't already have everything that can drop at that encounter, you will not get duplicates. I hope that makes sense. It's kind of confusing, but just know there is some type of smart loot system. So let's just go ahead and start off by taking a look at the Hunter set. Now I already mentioned this, but it is very similar to the Eater of Worlds armor. In fact, it's more like a more completed version of it. The cloak has both sides. There's a lot more really cool spikes and bows and stuff coming off your armor. I definitely like this version a lot better. In fact, the Hunter armor might be my favorite Spire of Stars armor, just because the other two have aspects that are a little bit silly to me, but we'll get into those in a second. Now, one thing I really like about this armor set is the dichotomy. If, like, say a gauntlet is shiny in one color on the right side of his body, the left side will not be that color. The Titan is a great example of this. We'll see that in a second. And one thing I would also really like to note with the Hunter armor is that the mask goes really well with pretty much any shader you can put on it. So secondly, let's go ahead and look at the Titan one. I mentioned the dichotomy of the colors earlier. That really sticks out with the Titan mask because the left side is one color, the right side is the other, and then in fact top and bottom are switched too. It's got this really cool color scheme. It adds a lot of depth to the armor, I feel, and overall it's just pretty cool. It's still very bulky like the Eater of Worlds armor, but because of all of the extra pieces, it actually flows together a lot better. I love how this armor looks a lot more. It's still not my favorite raid armor set ever. It does look a little bit silly like in the hands. It looks like you have really fat knuckles and stuff like that, but all around I think this armor set looks a lot more thought out and put together. And then finally we have the Warlock set, which once again looks very similar. The main thing that changes is the little bow on the top of the helmet. It's kind of like a half circle. Other than that, it's very similar. I'm not really a fan of this armor set at all. I think the extra nodules on the gloves and the boots really ruin it for me. They don't really look like they're in place. It just doesn't look that great. And then the overall robe design isn't the greatest either. That being said, I still think it is a step up from the Eater of Worlds counterpart, which was alright. The helmet was definitely my favorite part of that set as well, but still the rest of it just doesn't seem that great. So at the end of the day, is it a bad thing that these are so similar to Eater of Worlds? In my opinion, yeah, it's kind of bad, but it's not that huge of a deal. In a perfect world, these would have been the ornaments for the Eater of Worlds armor sets. It would have upgraded them, made them look more complete, a lot more full, and a lot cooler. And then of course for Spire of Stars, we would have gotten a cooler armor set, brand new, maybe something themed off of Valkor himself, or maybe just Cabal themed. Where I think Bungie ran into the problem was probably because they were developing so much. I'm sure the artists for this expansion had so much on their shoulders. We have an amazing amount of variation in things like ships and sparrows, new armor sets like Escalation Protocol, new weapons like the Ragerixes, things like this that have extremely unique designs on them. They probably suck time away from the raid loot. Now, Christopher Barrett has already mentioned that in future seasons and expansions going forward, one of their main focuses is making sure raids have a ton of loot, it is super unique, and most importantly, it is powerful and meaningful. In fact, as they have talked about the upcoming changes with the roadmap, they have mentioned multiple times that these are changes that we could be seeing very soon. So let me know what you guys think about these armor sets down in the comment section below. What do you think they should have done, and how do you like these armor sets? I hope you guys did enjoy this video. If you did, make sure to leave a like rating and to share it with your friends. If you are interested in watching either of the two videos on screen, you can click their respective annotations to be taken to them. If you are brand new to my channel, make sure to hit the giant version of my logo on screen to be subscribed to more awesome Destiny 2 videos and live streams. Thank you guys so much for watching today, and I will see you in my next video.